The primary purpose of Innovative AAC Solutions, the podcast, is to educate and inform. The views expressed during all episodes are solely those of the individuals involved and do not constitute educational or medical advice. They are not necessarily the views of Special School District of St. Louis County. Welcome back to Innovative AAC Solutions. I'm your host, Lara Hayes, and we are back with mini episode 10 and some new exciting resources to dive into. And before we dive into those, I do, of course, have a literacy joke for you guys. Because that is our theme this season, is we are diving into all things literacy. So this joke is a good one. It is basically that my mom used to feed me alphabet soup when I was a kid, and she insisted on telling everyone that I loved it. She insisted on telling everyone that I loved it. I didn't really. She was just putting words in my mouth. Good old alphabet soup joke. So, speaking of alphabet, we are going to talk today about looking at progress monitoring for literacy from your early emergent learners all the way through your conventional literacy learners, as well as a literacy kind of activity that's also manipulable and really fun, especially for anybody that loves Transformers or things that kind of shift and change. So we are going to jump into that. I will leave it as a teaser because I think that the resources speak for themselves. Let's dive in. Let us know what you think. Feel free to reach out, comment below, or shoot us an email. This week's resource is one for my data taking teachers and staff. This resource is called the Modified Bridge or Adapted Checklist for Students with Complex Communication Needs in relationship to reading and literacy and some other areas that we're going to talk about here. But what I love about this resource is that it really breaks it down into kind of 8 stages. Again, I would encourage you guys to use this as a progress monitoring tool. It's not necessarily something that we're going to use for criteria or the purposes of trying to put this into students' needs from an IEP perspective, but we're going to use it to help us track and monitor that progress and how they're progressing along this continuum. So for example, this first area of foundations of reading, book knowledge, appreciation, print awareness, or story comprehension, we're going to look at how they physically interact with the books, how they interact with the print, how they share literacy experiences, interact with symbols, and engage in the physical act of reading. So let's take interacting with print. So the first would just be indicating enjoyment when being read to. Then moving to touching and exploring the pages, or this could also be with a switch if you have someone with a complex body. Beginning to recognize print, frequently recognizing print, whether it be through pointing, touching, or looking, making print to speech connections or connections on an AAC system, knowing where to read on a page or looking at the print specifically on a page, and or noticing if a partner skips the text on a page, completing a part of a sentence by generating a word with a symbol, photo, sign, or gesture. Again, that can be used with their AAC speech generating device. And then lastly, understanding the concept of a word, so one-to-one correspondence with speech to text. That's just one example. So that's the area of foundations of reading. We also have the section for foundations of writing, which again helps us substantiate and support writing in the classroom because we know it's a continuum. So looking at how they draw and write and have access to that support, using print, using symbolic language to generate print, and writing their name. If you're like me, you may not have realized that there were 8 stages of this. And so I just find this so helpful to kind of graphically organize where we are as well as where we're going. The other areas include alphabet knowledge, phonological and phonemic awareness, and spoken or oral language related to those literacy activities, because we know all of that is connected to how we support our students to become autonomous communicators and autonomous readers. So please definitely check this out. Feel free to use it with your students. Feel free to use it to monitor their progress. Feel free to use it to help substantiate all the wonderful things that you were doing inside your classroom walls and outside. Feel free to use it to support understanding for parents as well, and that carryover, or for other staff. If you have questions, reach out to your facilitator, and happy documenting. Hey guys, here again for another innovative activity, all related to literacy and AAC. And this week, I have a super fun one to tell you about. And that is the amazing, the very cool, the very hip and trendy Alphabots. If you're like me, you have not heard of this until today. The box, once again, is not showing up great, but it is all 26 alphabets, letters of the alphabet. And what's cool about these letters is they actually all transform into little robots. So I grabbed a couple so I could show you. Here's the S. It moves. So now I have a little robot and he can do things. So this is not only great for literacy, but why don't we just target some actions and some other language concepts with it, right? I just think that this is the coolest thing. So like he can stand, right? And if I want to get really creative, I can also make the actions correspond with the letter that we're working on. So maybe he stands, maybe he sits, maybe he stops. There's so many possibilities, right? Maybe he sings. I hope not. But maybe he does all these things that these actions that we can target. And thinking about different sounds, that's different words that start with the letter S, but we're still targeting language. So that's the little S man. Here's T, just so you can see one more. And again, these guys, they just kind of move and manipulate. His little hands come down, and so now he can stand tall. He could talk. He could take. There's all kinds of things that we could target at the same time. They're all different colors, so everything from yellow to blue to green to white to orange to red. So many different colors, so many different language opportunities, so many different literacy opportunities where we're really making literacy engaging and fun and interactive. And that is so key when we're trying to engage on these concepts in different ways. So definitely check out Alphabots. It is a personal fave. It's from Lakeshore. It's in the IRC, and I'll also link the link below for you. Enjoy.